Hello, everybody. My name is Master Chen,
And I'm Zenify.
and you are watching or listening to Mental Overflow. All right, dude. So this is episode one of our new podcast project.
Yeah,
Let's see how this goes.
yeah. We've been trial and error for a little bit.
Yeah, we've been, but you know what though? As long as we get our technology right, I think this could be a great show.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's actually what we'll be talking about today. Is what the hell is this? What are we doing?
yeah.
So you'll see that Zenify is over there with a really professional setup with the headphones and the nice mic and everything, and I have my white earbuds in, and I'm actually recording on my phone,
Yeah.
my LG V20. Um, and now I won't always be recording this way. I just thought it would be cool to see if it works. And actually, Zenify, since you're taking most of the horsepower, I think this is working out pretty well, right? Like
Oh, yeah,
everything good
no,
on that
totally.
side?
Yeah, and just as you were talking about that, I was wondering if YouTube will actually attempt to stabilize your portion of the video, even though mine is static. Because, like, you move around slightly, which isn't, like, anywhere near a bad thing at all. I just wonder
Okay.
if YouTube will try and pick that up at all. That'd be
Well,
funny.
I guess we'll find out. So, again, I'm not trying to record from the phone all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but it would be cool to, we're going to be recording this every Monday night at about 6 o'clock or 6:30, and then it'll be, right. It'll end up in post.
Yep.
As far as like doing a live show, we could probably do that later once we
Mm-hmm.
get all the bugs worked out or whatnot.
Yeah, if we
But
got
for
people
now,
that want to do like a Q&A or something, like a live Q&A, I'm sure we could set something up.
yeah, that would be cool. But for now, I may be on my laptop, I may be on my phone, but either way, I'm just glad to see that the technology works.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about what it is that we're trying to do, what it is that we are all about, and where we want to see the show to go. Go.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, my background is in psychology, martial arts, and hacking. Okay, that's those three together are my background. And with that background, I want to talk about like a focus on social engineering and how that kind of works in the real world and how I've come across my own experience and how I've used these techniques. Um, and I'd like to merge these three worlds together. I'd like to merge psychology and hacking and martial arts to provide content and share knowledge and experience with our listeners or our viewers.
Mm-hmm.
So, Zenify, what kind of background do you have?
Yeah, mine's it's in security primarily, like defensive security and like analyst work, but I also dive into a lot of automation. So I work a ton in automation. It's such like my house or phone or anything, anything that I could do to make the computer do something for me because I'm a lazy asshole. Pretty much that.
But you know what though? It's not a bad thing to be lazy because
Nah.
that's where innovation comes in.
Oh
Dude,
yeah.
seriously, I took after your example and I haven't touched a light switch in here for at least the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
yeah, I
wonderful.
finally got. Yeah, it's great. I finally got all of my lights set up the way I wanted to, and it's really cool. Now the next thing I want to do, of course, is like if I get a text message, I want the lights to flash. But that'll come in
Yeah.
time.
I love that part.
Yeah. So as far as this show, though, like I said, I personally want to focus on social engineering aspects of it and things of that nature. Zenify and I have been on programs, and we're still on other programs. You may know us from Gray Noise, which is still going on, but this is our own show that we want to kind of focus on. Um, and with this show, like I've tried to bring social engineering up in shows that we've done before, and it always kind of goes back to what what programs will help you with social engineering, like a phishing email generator or an auto dialer for phone calls, and those are all great, but they're programs and they're not. Is phishing really teaching you social engineering skill? I would argue no.
Yeah.
Zenify,
Yeah.
what do
No.
you think about that?
Well, definitely, like, because when you talk about phishing, I immediately go to like what I do in day to day work, where I see phishing emails come in, and I see a bunch of recommendations always going out to customers for phishing training and like just general security awareness training, but nobody's actually being trained on true social engineering. They're being trained how to spot misspelled words in emails, and that's literally it.
Right.
And I definitely like, I try and provide more in that sense and try and, say, hey, you can't just focus on, one linear thing, because people, don't know things like tailgating, like trying to, you're just being nice. You're holding the door open for somebody that's coming into your work. They have a stack of papers and you let them write in, yet do they actually know that they're doing a physical either pen test or they're actually trying to steal information from the inside of your company? They don't know that because they're not a URL.
Absolutely. And like using your example of tailgating, you're just playing off the psychology
Yeah,
of humans. Like
yeah,
people have been taught to have a certain etiquette or to have or act a certain way. We call these social norms, right?
yeah.
So social engineering is playing off of these social norms, and that's more of the area that I'd like to cover. Again, phishing emails, they have their place.
Mm-hmm.
Phone calls, very, very important
Yeah,
for
and
social
they
engineering.
absolutely work. I'm not saying they
Yeah,
don't.
absolutely, they do work.
Yeah.
But like I think, as an example, okay, I think the latest version of Kali, which is the rolling distribution,
Mm-hmm.
Kali Linux, I don't know if they have the social engineering toolkit
No, they
anymore.
they didn't. Yeah, they didn't include it. It's not included in
Right.
the latest version. Yeah.
And that kind of speaks to what that toolkit was all about. It's very, I would say it's very useful. The tools that are provided to them, like, or to the package, right? The social engineering toolkit is a great tool, but again, it's a tool. Will you always have these
Mm-hmm.
tools when your objective is, to get physical access and then move from there?
Yeah.
I think um, that's where a lot of people who are in the industry may lack, because they can run a script and then be done with it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's not what we're about here. you
Mm-mm.
know
Totally.
so again, as far as the background goes, I really feel that I can take my three areas of focus and kind of put them together. Like, if we talk about sales and marketing as techniques, like what in my history, what in my background can help illustrate these types of things. Like, for instance, I ran a martial arts school for a few years back in the early days.
The early
um,
days.
yeah, well, it wasn't a long time ago, but I mean, like, I don't do it anymore,
uh,
right? But there was a lot of sales and marketing involved because I was trying to enroll new students and getting to know people, networking, shaking hands, meeting with people at like the Henderson Chamber of Commerce or the Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce, which, by the way, we're recording in Vegas.
yeah, that's where we are.
Yeah, that's where we are. Um, but you know, that's where the background comes from. And so when we're talking about sales and marketing, what aspects of social engineering make sales and marketing successful, or what aspects of sales and marketing make social engineering successful? It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a two-sided coin, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's where I'd like to focus. Again, I could talk about martial arts and how that pertains to hacking. Like buffer overflow. And this is just an example. I'm kind of thinking at the top of my head here, but like with buffer overflow attacks, right? You're flooding the memory after a certain registry point. In martial arts, I could probably put that to an analogy of throwing a whole bunch of punches that just become unblockable because of the barrage of attacks.
Yeah, it becomes exhausting.
You know, or maybe that might be more akin to like flooding or DDoSing, right? That might
Yeah.
be a thing, or DOSing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, my goal is to take these three areas of my life and put them all together, create some cool content, talk about it, and then have a conversation with you, Zenify. And then if people are interested, we could answer questions.
Yeah.
We can do, like you were saying earlier, like some sort of a live Q&A, and we'll go from there. We'll see how this goes. We'll see what this is. This is the first episode.
Yeah.
And Zenify, with your background, what do you want to get accomplished with this?
Well, mine is it's definitely going to bring social engineering and automation together, and not in the way that most people would assume, which is trying to automate social engineering to do tasks for you. I'm talking about the end user, or actually the AI watching for social engineering to occur against a user. So let's say an environment, there is no more SOC Tier 1 analyst, and you have an AI there trying to dictate and triage, alerts or something like that. uh, but the AI can't tell the difference between a true social engineer versus maybe an automated social engineer, and it kind of just passes that alert. It's just like, no, that's, it's nothing. It's a false positive. Yet it really was a true positive. So that's where my mind is at, because I deal, every day in SOC triaging alerts, reading logs, and once you take the human element out of reading those logs and actually pivoting around and understanding, at what point does the AI just brush it off as nothing, when it truly was something?
So, like, until they solve that problem,
Mm.
do you think there will be a human element to your job for the foreseeable future, or are you kind of worried about? Not worried. That's probably the wrong word
Yeah,
for it.
I'm
But are
not.
you like, what do you think about the future of your career path, or like, if the SOC analyst is replaced again by AI,
Yeah.
how long will it be before that happens? Do you think?
Um, I mean, honestly, I think it would be maybe like 3 or 4 years at most that the SOC tier one analyst, like, so that's what I'm focusing on, is the SOC tier one analyst who does the triaging. That tier doesn't necessarily do incident response. Um, so the AI might pass on something that actually needs to be responded to, and instead of the AI passing it off to a tier two or tier three who would do the actual responding, it just throws away the alert, and then nobody's able to respond to it. Hence the breach, the account compromise, the whatever. Um, but
Right.
honestly, I do think the tier one analyst will go away sooner than we think.
Like,
And
can you put a year price tag on it?
I'd,
Next 5, next 10 years?
by 2020, I think. So three years, I
Oh shit,
think.
that's like no, dude, it's like 2 years because we're
Yeah.
at the
Oh,
end of
yeah. That's true.
2017 when
Yeah.
we're
No.
recording this.
No, I definitely think, yeah. No, because I read articles every day about other companies. I see companies right now working on full automation for the early stages, or the front end stages of a SOC, security operations center. Um, and then it's only going to be a matter of time before, the engineering portion, the content and rule creation portion, that's all going to become automated as well. And as much as I love automation and AI and machine learning and all that, uh, I think people are going to try and implement it too fast, because it's almost like what was it, like war games, or not war games? Um,
Are you talking about the movie?
no, not the movie. Like, I'm more thinking of like a nuclear arms race. Like, people are trying to get to that end stage so quickly that whoever nails it kind of first, they're going to start implementing that, and then other companies are going to jump on that and go, oh yeah, they have that, we could do it too. But realistically, it's not ready yet at all. And I think that's what's going to cause, significant problems, is the fact that people are going to try and jump on this too fast, and it's not going to be done and ready yet. And
Well, I mean, I can see your point, but I think you'll have well, like with any other product, right? You'll have your early adopters of that automation, and then
yeah,
you'll have like the people who follow along after the first few variations, and then eventually, like we know, the job will be automated.
oh yeah, no,
Um,
it's absolutely will be, yeah.
right now, do you think when it becomes automated, there will? Okay, of course, I think the answer is going to be yes. But do you think there will be ways to circumvent that automation, or make false positives, or false flag types of attacks, or a way to
Yeah.
render the automation useless or practically moot?
No, I mean, I definitely think so. I mean, right now our mindsets are more towards the human variable and element causing the biggest screw up, and you know in any type of security incident. Um, but once machines and AI are like the prime factor in that scenario, that people like you and me that have the mindset to just try and break things, they're gonna break that, uh, you know break the machine and get past it. And that's why I think once you take the human element out of it, there's going to be even more, uh, not false positives, there's going to be more true positives that are missed, because the machine itself isn't going to go back and double check itself 100 times, because you don't have, some paranoid analyst sitting there going, no, I think there's something wrong here. The AI is just going to go, oh no, there's nothing wrong here, and throw it out.
Well, I think as things become more automated, it'll change the attack surface, I think,
Yeah.
but also it might widen the attack surface, or change it in a way that doesn't lessen, like it doesn't take away from what attackers can do, but merely just changes their approach, right?
Yeah, no, totally.
Like that's what I see. Yeah, that's what I see coming up in the future here. Now, one thing that I do know that will never change is the human element.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about like when you're actually attacking humans directly. Like, let's say I'm not even talking about a corporation, and that's why I personally love social engineering, in particular, because aside from maybe vocabulary and the way that we approach research in the field, like psychology hasn't changed much. Like, human beings are human beings, and human beings have compassion. Human beings have the tendency to correct wrongs due to pattern recognition in the brain. The brain wants to um, complete patterns, right?
Yeah.
Or like if they know that the information is wrong, they want to correct it, and that's just something that's human nature. We're designed to do that, and that hasn't changed much in the past hundreds to thousands of years. That's just how we're wired. And so you have one side, which is the automation, but then you have the other side, which is, I'm not talking about a company in particular, but if we're talking about attacking individual humans, you know, social engineering is not going anywhere. And I think that's why, yeah, and I think that's why I'm really going to enjoy doing deep analysis on that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why I'm looking forward to this project.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's really fun to think about. I mean, for me, it's really fun to think about how humans will inherently do something just because they have some sort of internal moral compass that everybody's kind of abided by all along, and they just natively do something. That's really interesting to me.
Yeah, and it's funny because with social engineering, you pick apart somebody, you find out not only if they have morals, but what those morals are, and then you attack accordingly, right? Or if you realize that this person maybe has no morals, you can use that to your advantage too. Like, there's always a way in. There's always a way to approach any individual. There's always something that motivates the individual. There's always something that deters the individual from action.
Yeah.
And all of these combined, all of these techniques, all of these concepts combined really put social engineering, I think, at the forefront of information security, and I think it's always going to be that way.
Yeah.
With you, Zenify, the automation, the technology may change, but I think the underlying concepts of exploitation will always be there, right?
Because there's always going to be a person somewhere someone is trying to attack or gain something from. It's
right.
I mean, it's the whole point around all of this, I think.
I completely agree, and I think the technology may help to mitigate certain attacks. Like, we do have spam protection, maybe some phishing protection, but again, that goes back to automation. That goes back to the technology. If the attacker can get past all of that, and the defenses are down, then is the human still smart enough to detect when they're being taken advantage of?
Yeah.
That's what makes a con artist still a con artist. These techniques haven't changed. They're still a 3-card Monty,
Yeah.
And we will get into that, of course, definitely, as the shows progress and as we go on. Zenify, is there anything that you want to add to this? I mean, I think we've kind of given a decent introduction to what we're all about.
Yeah, and exactly how you and I plan to attack this and what our goals are with this. Yeah, this is pretty good for an initial bit.
Sweet. Now I don't think we have it on the screen right now, but if you want to get a hold of us, we do have Twitter accounts.
Mm-hmm.
Please send us your questions. We are at Mental Overflow on Twitter. I'm personally at Chenbox. That's ChenB0X and Zenify.
I'm at Zenify_exe.
Right. So if you like what we're talking about, if you have an interest in what we're doing here, send us questions. We'll answer it to the best of our ability. It'll always come from our own experience. I will do my best not to throw bullshit your way, straight up. And I'm really excited to do this.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. It's super fun. It's a super fun concept. Pretty much something that you and I both think about every day.
So, I believe our plan is to record pretty consistently Monday nights, and then have the post audio or the post video up by the next morning,
Yeah.
or maybe a Wednesday morning.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of Mental Overflow. My name is Master Chen.
I'm Zenify.
Well, good night, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.